Hi everyone. Can you please hear me? Okay. Now I think things are fine. Sorry, I think I went to the wrong streaming. So okay, let's just start. So today we are going to discuss one of the most controversial question, which is, does FCFS has starvation or not? Right? FCFS has starvation or not? So whatever we are going to talk about in this particular session, I will give you proof of everything, which means like I will not talk about the opinions. I will talk about the proof. Okay. So let's just start, and then we will take your questions also. Whatever doubt you have, you can just post it in the chat box, and then I will take your questions also. But before that, let me put my research that I have went through different resources. So let me just talk about my research. Okay. So this was the question. The question was, which one of the following which one of the following CPU scheduling algorithm can potentially cause starvation? So I hope that all of you are good with all of these options. Let me first talk about the FCFS first, which is first in first out or first come first serve. So I have prepared a draft and I will go over this draft. Now in the draft, the first section is default assumptions about jobs being submitted. See, suppose that there is one job that you submit to CPU, which is while one. Suppose you submit this job, then what will happen? Suppose this is the job one, which means this is your first program that you are submitting to CPU, and then you are submitting some other program after it, which means you are submitting job 2 after it, which is something else, right? Something else, something else. Similarly, job 3 is something else, something like that. Then, if you are using FCFS, in that case, if you are submitting in this order, then job 1 will get submitted first, right? Because it is first come first serve. So job 1, so see here, job 1 is here, job 1, right? And which is basically infinitely looping, right? Which is looping infinite times. So now your job 2, which is supposed to be run in the CPU. So let's suppose CPU is running this job currently, which is getting executed on CPU. Now, if job 1 gets finished, then only job 2 will start its execution, right? So CPU will say that let me first finish this job 1, let me first finish this job 1, and then once this job 1 is finished, then I will start this job 2. So it is very simple to observe that FCFS has starvation subject to the condition that any of your job has infinite loop, right? Subject to the condition that any of the job has infinite loop. Let me first ask if this statement is clear to everyone or not. If I am allowing infinite burst time, if I am allowing a job which is having an infinite burst time, see, this job is having infinite burst time. This job is having infinite burst time. If I'm allowing infinite burst time job, then in that case FCFS has starvation, right? Is this okay to everyone? Cool. So now I hope everyone agree with me. Now, why other sources are saying, so there are many sources which are saying that FCFS does not have starvation. Let's just see those sources also. So see, despite the validity of the argument that I just gave to you, there are multiple additional standard sources that claim that FCFS does not undergo starvation. Despite that this argument seems valid, you only are saying that this argument seems valid, right? This argument is valid to everyone. Still there are some standard sources which are saying that FCFS does not undergo starvation. True. Let's just see. Kindly refer to figure 2, which is a screenshot taken from Williams-Strolling. So see, Williams-Strolling is very standard book. So if you talk about this book, in this book it is explicitly mentioned that FCFS does not have starvation. See here, it is saying no, it does not have starvation. In this book it is explicitly mentioned. Then what is the problem? See here, you are just saying, you just got agree that yes, FCFS has starvation subject to the condition that we are allowing the infinite loop, a job with the infinite burst time. So what happens in this case? Why Williams-Strolling is saying that FCFS does not have starvation? Let me go over some other resources also. So similarly, there are many other resources that says that FCFS does not have starvation. If you go to this CMU University, which is, I think, I do not know the exact ranking, but I think it should be in the top 20 university of this world. Okay, these all universities, CMU, Washington, these two universities, like similarly the IIT Kanpur, IIT Bombay, these universities are definitely the top ranked university in India. But if I talk about these foreign universities, I'm 100% sure that if not top 20, then this is in top 30. The CMU and Washington University. So these universities are specifically saying that this algorithm is very easy to implement and is also very fair. Consecutively, consequently, it is basically starvation free, right? So CMU University is saying that it is starvation free. Washington University is saying it is not having any starvation. IIT Kanpur itself is saying that it is starvation free. I think they have copied the same line from the CMU University, right? This IIT Kanpur line and CMU University line seems same. Similarly, this IIT Bombay is also saying it is starvation free. Let me know if that is clear to everyone, that these many resources are saying it is starvation free, right? So many resources are saying it is starvation free. William Stirling itself, which is very popular, very widely used standard book, which is also saying this is starvation free. So what do you think? See, this argument which I just gave to you seems logically very correct. Still there are many universities, and including the standard books, right? These are saying that it is starvation free. Then what is happening here? So what do you think? Definitely they, in my view, which I have written in the doc, like I prepared a doc, I will share with all of you. In my view, the only foundation upon which all of these sources support the idea that FCFS is not vulnerable to starvation is their supposition that jobs with the infinite bus times are not submitted. So they are saying jobs with the infinite bus time are not submitted. So see, if the jobs with the infinite bus time can be allowed to submit, see here I'm saying subject to the condition that infinite bus time jobs are allowed, then FCFS is definitely not starvation free. But if all of these sources are saying, then there must be some assumption, right? So the assumption is so default that they have not mentioned it. So which means that all of these sources assume that bus time is finite. Otherwise, logically you think like that. Logically, if you think, if bus time is infinite, if you allow infinite bus time, then definitely the FCFS is not starvation free. But since all of these resources are saying that FCFS is starvation free, then what does this mean? They must have assumed that the bus time is finite, right? So basically, the assumption that only finite bus time job occur is so common that numerous authors consider it as a default assumption. So they are saying it is so common that they are considering as a default assumption. Basically, this assumption is so common. Now, William Stirling book and other sources that I just mentioned has taken the following assumption as default. Then only they are saying, otherwise they cannot say. Default assumption is that users are very nice and will submit only finite bus time jobs, right? So basically, this is the default assumption that almost every resources that I just shown to you they are making. Now, let's just see this question. This question is taken from UCI University of California. And then what this question is saying. So basically, I will show you two questions, the same question in the different universities, and which are having the different answers. So let's just see. Now, please consider the question in figure 3 taken from University of California. So just see this question. This is exactly same question that they have asked, right? So in this question, they are saying that which of the following scheduling algorithm could result in starvation? But now, just notice one thing. Just pay attention here. Just pay attention. What they are saying, assume that a process bus time can be infinite. This is what they are saying. See, they have explicitly mentioned it, that assume that process bus time could be infinite. Isn't it? Since they have explicitly mentioned it, you will say that, okay, this FCFS will suffer from the starvation, because they are explicitly saying that bus time is infinite. Bus time can be infinite. Now let me take another question, which is from like University of Buffalo, and which is almost same question. In fact, which is the same question which that GATE has asked. Which of the following scheduling algorithm can lead to the starvation? They have given the 4 options, and they are saying SGF and priority. They are not talking about the FCFS here. University of Buffalo, let me just tell you, it is also one of the top universities. Like I'm almost sure that it should be in under 30 or under 40. In fact, it is better than ISC. Like in terms of ranking, I can say it is better than ISC and all IITs. So this is very, very extremely reputed university, which is saying that, see, that which of the following, like if they're asking the question that which of the following can lead to the starvation, which is the exact same question, exact same question. Then they have asked in the gate. They are not giving FCFS as an option. So what is the difference between this question and that question? In this question, they have explicitly said that assume that process bus time can be infinite, right? So reference to this University of California question, homework can be found here. The question they posted at UCI is identical to GATE CS 2023 question 17, with the exception that they explicitly included the assumption of infinite process bus time. So see, this question that I am just talking about, this and the GATE question is same. This question and GATE question is same, but the only difference is that they explicitly included the assumption, right? They explicitly included the assumption. Do you agree with me? But this question, which is at University of Buffalo, which is basically one of the top university, I can say, you can just Google it out. Like I have studied their machine learning course. Like this is a Canadian university. I think the professor name is Ali Godse. You can just search it out. Like this is a very, very well-known professor from machine learning. His lectures, let me tell you, if you go to IITs, then his lectures are going to be very, very smooth, just like a cakewalk. I mean, his lectures are so nice in machine learning that you will feel like that, okay, he's teaching very high level mathematics with so simplicity. His lectures are extremely nice. Let me tell you, just mark it out, okay? Just remember this name, Ali Godse. He is a professor from University of Buffalo. I used to study from him, and I can say that my Amazon interview experience, like my Amazon interview, like all of the machine learning that they have asked, mostly Ali Godse lectures have helped me there. So basically, this like crux is that this university is very, very nice university. All I want to say is this, okay? Cool. So basically, this university is saying that if you are not explicitly mentioning, then the answer is not FCFS. And here in this university, they are explicitly mentioning, and the answer is FCFS. Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear to everyone? Right? Now, let's just see. So see, this is basically the reference. If you want, you can just go here. And then it is worth noting that University of Buffalo has not explicitly stated the assumption about the process having infinite bus time. They have not taken FCFS scheduling into account for the possibility of starvation. So in the answer to the first question, first means the UCI question, okay? First means UCI question. FCFS was included because the question explicitly stated. But in contrast, the second question means University of Buffalo. University of Buffalo is saying that that they have not explicitly mentioned. Then they are saying that FCFS is not the answer. So to conclude, I can say this is the final remark, which I can say that in conclusion, I would like to state that assumption of jobs having the finite bus time is so common that it is accepted as default unless otherwise stated. Because you just see William Stalling and other resources, the top-notch resources. I mean, if we cannot trust those resources which are running the industry, right? Which are the top-notch resources, which are the only resources we should trust for. If we cannot even trust those resources, then what should we trust, right? So basically, those resources are saying that FCFS does not have starvation because the assumption is so common. This assumption that infinite bus time cannot be possible is so common that it is accepted as a default assumption unless otherwise stated. A number of candidates provided the answer to this question based on the implicit assumption that processes are limited to having only finite bus time, which led them to believe that there would be no starvation in FCFS as per the Williams book. Do you agree with me? Okay, so basically, as you see that there are numerous resources, including the William Stalling saying that FCFS does not have starvation. Then why FCFS has starvation? Because logically it seems that FCFS can have starvation. So this assumption actually, which I have found out, that this assumption is so common that people are not mentioning it. So as a student, how can they expect us to not assume that assumption? Because that is very, very implicit assumption that even the standard resources are assuming. Then why not us? Right? Even the standard, these top-notch books are assuming that assumption. That why not us? That is my question to challenge for this draft. Now, I can say meanwhile other candidates mark this. So basically this is my final remark, and I am kindly requesting you to please change the answer key to include both the possibilities, ACD and CD. I am not saying that you just include ACD or just include CD. I am saying include both, because some of the aspirants had made this assumption in mind, some of the aspirants had not made this assumption in mind. So that is why both should be the answer. See, okay, some people are saying potentially. Potentially, see, obviously the potentially is a default word. If someone is asking that, okay, tell me whether it can have a starvation or something or not, then obviously it will ask the possibility. The possibility or the potentially, both are the same thing. And since I'm talking about the standard resources, so here I need to talk about the standard resources where they have implicitly assumed that, right? You need to understand the implicit assumption. So what do you think, why this no is sitting here? Haven't they considered the potentially word? Do you think that potentially has anything to play here? Haven't this William Stalling considered this potentially word? It will say that, okay, non-potentially is not, potentially is yes, right? So obviously this is potentially, I mean potentially has nothing, like according to me it has no role to play. It is saying no. It means they have considered every option, but they have taken the default assumption. Obviously, no means that they have considered the every option, but they have taken the default assumption. See, everyone has taken the default assumption. But if you specify explicitly, then this beats your default assumption, and that is why FCFS is the answer. But if you do not specify explicitly, like this is University of Buffalo. If you do not specify explicitly, then FCFS is not the answer. Okay, cool. Have you understood? Now let me also talk about some of the things that you people, I have got to know that you people are talking about it. So as a side note, I am talking about it. See, some people are saying that OS will itself kick it out. So as a side note, I'm just saying it. Although I have not mentioned this in the draft because I do not need to mention, but anyway, as a side note, I am saying that some students are saying that OS will kick out the process, will kick out infinite burst time job process. What do you think? Will OS kick out it? Will OS kick out it naturally? That, okay, it is not doing anything. Then OS will kick out. Do you think? Yeah. So remove this potentially word and let me know, does this answer change? Yes. So yeah, let me just talk about this potentially word, and meanwhile you can think about it. See, you can just remove this potentially word. I don't think potentially has anything to do with this. See, they have written the potentially only. Obviously, like they are talking about the potentially. So let me just talk about it. So see, you just remove this potentially word and let me know what is the answer. Do you think it will change? And since the University of Buffalo are also saying can also means potentially, right? Right, that's very true. See, this University of Buffalo here, they are saying can lead to. They are saying they may not. I mean, what does this potentially had to do here? This is my question. Okay, so I hope you're getting it. So this potentially has nothing to do here. You remove this potentially and let me know what is the answer. In fact, the University of Buffalo is saying the can. It also means the potentially, right? Okay, I hope this potentially confusion is clear to everyone. First, let me talk about this potentially confusion. Yes, potentially has nothing to do here. Let me know if you are convinced or there is some issue with the potentially word. Yes, Priyanshu, that is correct. So now let's talk about the side note that I wanted to talk about. Will OS kick out the infinite burst time process? What do you think? So some students are saying that OS will kick out the infinite burst time process. They are saying that it is a CPU protection or something like this, right? CPU protection, because of the CPU protection, CPU should be protected or something like this. OS will kick out the infinite job process. See here, it is given in Galvin that there is a timer that you can use. But do you think, like, I mean, I will go over this paragraph. Don't worry about it. But do you think that OS will kick out the infinite job process? infinite time job process? Obviously no, it cannot actually, because OS cannot decide. OS cannot even decide, cannot decide that will this process take just a second. Yeah, OS cannot decide will this process take infinite time or will halt eventually. This is a very popular halting problem, isn't it? How can OS decide that it will halt eventually? It is very popular halting problem, and which is undecidable. Since it is undecidable, so OS cannot decide on this. Okay, in all the cases you cannot rely on the OS basically. Now let's just go over this paragraph that is given in the Galvin. So what they're saying, we must ensure that operating system maintain a control over the CPU. We cannot allow a user program to get stuck in the infinite loop or to fail to call the system services and never return control to the operating system. So that's what they're saying. Yes, I agree. They are saying that we should not allow, right? We cannot allow a process to go into an infinite loop. That is fair, that I completely agree. So for that, what we can do, the timer can be set to interrupt. So in let's suppose I'm saying that 60 second or something, in every 60 second I will check that, okay, is it doing something, something. But these are just a heuristics. You can just implement it, but you cannot depend on this completely, right? I mean, they are saying in Galvin, it is not written here that OS will kick it out, because OS is never sure. OS is never sure that your program will be halting eventually, or it will be keep on running. Maybe let's suppose, okay, I'm not going into the detail of the halting program, but let's suppose that OS kick out after 5 minutes. But let's suppose after 5 minutes, okay, OS kick it out. But let's suppose that that maybe after 5.01 minutes it was about to do something. So who is responsible for that? If you are kicking it out, then who is responsible for that? Yes, just listen here carefully and just accept these things with the open mind. Okay, don't just think that, okay, it is not an election. So first of all, it is not an election where we are not asking you to vote. Just think logically, think with the open mind. It will help you only. Okay, so if you think with the open mind, if you keep your mind open, logical arguments, then only this session will help, right? Otherwise, if you keep on thinking that, okay, FCFS does not have starvation, FCFS has starvation, whatever you're thinking, if you keep on thinking like this, then what is the point in listening me, right? Okay, so now let's just talk about this particular thing where this timer is written. So they are not saying that OS will kick it out. This is just heuristic, means these are some measures that you are taking. Heuristic means these are some efforts that you are doing, but it is not the thing that you can 100% be sure. This is some effort, some protection. Yes, you can say protection, some protection from your side, right? But it does not mean it will 100% protect you. Okay, so you can implement a timer, but it doesn't mean that it will 100% protect you, because it is an undecidable problem. So OS will never get to know whether it is running or it is not running. I mean, it is doing something or not doing something, because it is an undecidable problem. So that is why you can use the heuristics, which means you can use these efforts, or you can use your own idea, which is correct, but you cannot depend on them. You cannot rely on this, right? Okay, so this was just a side note that I wanted to talk about, that some people are saying that OS will kick out the process, or some students are saying the OS will kick out the process, but it won't happen. I hope you got it right. Okay, now let's talk about one more thing where people are getting confused. So okay, in the draft, I will write this timer thing also. So they are saying that I've not framed this completely in the way I wanted to do. So I'm just putting some screenshots here. So but almost it is done. So the timer mentioned in the figure 1 can be utilized to prevent the infinite loops in the certain situations, but not all. Hence, operating system may not kick out such useless infinite processes, and therefore starvation can occur with FCFS. Okay, it's not like that it will always kick. So basically, it is in the favor of starvation can occur, but you should be having an assumption with you. Basically, we need to have the assumption that the jobs which are being submitted, see here, the jobs which are being submitted, the should not should be having can be having infinite time or cannot have infinite time. So we should be knowing this in prior. If we do not know this, then just see this question. If we do not know this, then by the default everyone is assuming that finite time. Everyone is assuming finite by default. So that is why we will also assume it is finite. Like as a student, what do you expect from me? As a student, like do you expect we can say to the to the gate authorities that do you expect us to even falsify this this William Sterling argument also? And all of these top universities are talking about that starvation does not occur. But if there is a university or there is something where they are saying starvation occur, then they are talking about the assumption explicitly. That is what the difference is, right? Okay. Cool. Now, I hope that is okay with everyone. Now, just one last thing, which is that now some people are saying that round robin may also lead to starvation because we can make the time counter to infinite, right? Some people are saying that round robin can also lead to starvation because time counter could be infinite. Okay. Do you think it is the correct argument? See, time counter is a variable, right? You will be having a variable t or something. You can have, let's suppose if it is an int variable, then you can have int variable maybe tq. Then you can have int underscore max, which means you need to include that library to define this macro. But anyway, which means that you can specify only the maximum range, which is some integer or some floating point number, whatever it is. It will hold some maximum range. It cannot hold the infinity, right? It cannot hold it can hold a very very large number, but it cannot hold the infinity. You're getting my point? So that is why you cannot say the time counter could be infinite. Time counter has to be finite. There is no logical argument which is saying that time counter could be infinite. So since the time counter is finite, now you can say the finite time counter could be anything: 10 minutes, 10 years, or even 100 years. Does not matter as long as it is finite. As long as you are giving a guarantee to the other process that see, you are going to run maybe after 10 minutes, maybe after 10 years, maybe after 100 years, but you are going to run. You are giving the guarantee to other process. As long as you are giving the guarantee, then you are fine. Right? Okay. So time counter cannot be infinite. Now some people are saying that okay, I think some people are saying talking about the CPU bus and IO bus and what is this. So let me just give you a simple example where you can have the CPU and IO bus. See, let's suppose you are asking scanf, you are asking for some number, right? Like some number. Let's suppose you are asking for some number. Sorry, let me not write the complete syntax. Okay, so and then you are saying that let's suppose you are asking for ABC, and then you are saying that let's suppose A equal to, or maybe you are asking just AB, and then you are saying C equal to A plus B, and let's suppose you are printing it. Right? So what is happening here? Let's suppose it is happening in the infinite loop, or maybe finite, does not matter. I just wanted to talk about that. See, here you are waiting for IO, waiting for keyboard, right? IO, which is keyboard here in your case. So this is IO burst. This is basically IO waiting. This is IO burst. You are waiting for keyboard. This is you are doing in the computation in the ALU, which is a part of CPU. So this is IO. This is CPU. Then this is again IO because you are printing on the monitor, printing on the screen. printing on screen. So this is again IO. So basically, I mean, this is a job of the nature. It could be having CPU and IO mix. So if some people are having any confusion in this, then I'm just talking about it. Okay. So anyway, this is just one confusion. And also you can definitely have any job which is, let's suppose, just C A equal to 1, B equal to 2, and C equal to A plus B, and print C, right? You can definitely have maybe let's suppose not even the print. You can definitely have any job which is just having these 3 instructions, which is only CPU, and also finite. You can have it, right? Only CPU, just a finite, just 3 numbers. It doesn't mean that every, like some students are saying that every process is having the infinite burst time or infinite. No, every process is not having. It depends whether you are having it or not, whether you are having a while infinite loop or not. If you are not having infinite loop, it doesn't have infinite time, right? Okay. So I hope you understood every point. So the side note I talked about, where the people are having some confusion about the CPU protection and all, right? This is the side note I talked about. And some people are saying that that the infinite that it can have the like every process is having, like now they are saying that every process is having infinite time. So that's also very, very wrong. Like, and like, I mean, it is extremely wrong to say that, extremely wrong to say that every process is having infinite time, because like you can just have something like this. And in fact, almost all of the processes are something like this. It is so common that everyone is saying this. It is something like this, right? I mean, every standard source is saying that, okay, CPU burst time is finite. So I hope you got the idea. Now just a final conclusion, which is this, that if you are mentioning it explicitly, then give me FCFS as answer. I don't have any problem. But if you are not mentioning explicitly, so here FCFS as answer. But if you are not mentioning explicitly, then do not give me FCFS as answer. But since it is up to the student whether they are understanding the problem and with what mindset, we don't know. So that is why we are saying that answer should be both of them, right? Include FCFS, do not include FCFS. So that should be the answer. This is what we are saying. I hope everyone is good with this. Okay. So thank you everyone. Now we are going to challenge this question. Don't worry about it. I will share the draft with all of you by tonight, and then we are going to challenge this question. See, if you want, you can use the same draft. There is no issue. You can definitely use the same draft, and then you can also challenge this question. So actually I don't know how it works. I need to ask to some of my friend which are at IITs and ISC, like how this challenge works, if they know it. But I think if we put the similar draft more number of times, then there will be a chance that this draft will be visible to them, right? It might be the chance that they do not see my draft if I only use this draft. So maybe if you want, you can use the same draft. I will put the link of this draft in the description by tonight. Okay, just see that draft and just use this draft if you want to use. Okay, so let me know if you have any question. I'm happy to answer. That's why I kept it live. Let me know if you have any question. So yeah, so first of all, like we are talking logically. This is the logical argument we are giving. It is not like that that any assumptions I have taken or something like that. We have done a very well research, and then we have found out that every source is saying, see, like logically, if you think that FCFS has the starvation, that is correct, because the infinite job is possible, then it will be having the starvation. But why all of the sources are saying? Then we got to know that, okay, this assumption is so implicit that everyone is assuming like this, and then if then we have found out this Buffalo question. Then they are saying that if you are asking as a question and not mentioning the infinite burst time, then by default they are taking. If you are not mentioning, then by default they are taking, right? As you can see in this Buffalo question, right? So if you are not mentioning, then by default they are taking it. See here, if you're not mentioning, the by default they are taking it. So that is why, like we came up with the conclusion that if you want to mention, if you really want to mention that FCFS caused that starvation, then you should be mentioning this explicitly. That's what we have found out from the standard sources, which is not I'm not saying from my idea. This is the standard sources I'm talking about, right? Okay. So let me know if you have any doubt. Okay. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much. please don't worry. Like I mean, we are challenging because we want the game to be fair. Don't think that we are challenging because some students are saying or someone is saying, nothing like that. So we want everyone to get the result that they are aiming for. I mean, what they deserve for. So basically, if you are biased towards it, that's okay. I mean, I don't have anything to say it, but just be open and just be happy that you did it correct. If you did it ACD, then be happy. Don't worry about that. Okay, what if the CD is also getting the answer? Don't worry about it. You applied your mind, then be happy that most of the people have not applied that logic. You have applied that logic, so be happy because most of the people have not applied the logic, and you applied it, you made it correct, and now you should be happy. Now what others are doing, let's okay, that is okay, because that is given in the standard books. That's the problem, right? Okay, thank you everyone, thank you so much. So take care. Bye bye. By the way, GoClasses was the only one. You can see our YouTube channel, the live streaming that was just after the GATE exam, and was the only one who was the first one to claim that FCFS may have the starvation. Right. In fact, if you go to my GATEOverflow answer, I clearly mentioned that ACD or CD could be the answer. We were the only one. So I just want to emphasize on this. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.